Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Grace Costa, a commercial photographer of over 2 decades, a photo-based artist, and a photography mentor. This podcast opens up a secret diary about the world of the photography industry. We'll bring you inspiring interviews with industry professionals, as well as stories and tips to help you propel through your photography journey, whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro. Thanks for joining me today. Now let's open the latest diary. Hi friends, welcome back to the Photo Diaries podcast. Today I have a special guest with us, my friend Anna Scott, all the way from Victoria. We met at a business retreat late last year. We both share the same business coach. I got to know Anna and the things that she offers in her business as a visibility coach. And I found her work really interesting and really important for us photographers to learn about how to become more visible in our industry and grow our reach, our credibility, and our client base. And today, Anna is here to help us with all those things. So welcome, Anna. Lovely to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, Grace, and to talk to all your listeners.
Thanks. Can you please introduce yourself? And I'd love everyone to know a little bit about your background in PR and brand coordination. I don't know what you call it, but let us know your background and what you do in your business as well.
Yeah, sure. So for those who don't know me, like Grace said, my name is Anna and I'm a visibility coach. So I empower women predominantly in business to become really well known in their industry, to start reaching new audiences, getting in front of new audiences, and becoming really in demand with the right people. And I really focus on with my clients ways in which they can start using different channels than what they might be using, such as their socials and their email and their website, and look at how they can start getting in front of new audiences through other people's channels. So looking at things like podcast guesting and guest posting and brand collaborations and all those sorts of things that really start tapping into other people's audiences to really help them to build their credibility, grow, and really take their business to the next level. And in terms of my background, I have been working in PR and branding for well over a decade now. And I started my business journey back in 2020. After the birth of my first daughter, I was looking to go back to my corporate career. And I realized it just didn't have that flexibility that I wanted, or it wasn't going to allow me to be the mum that I wanted to be. And so I'd got a little bored while I was on maternity leave, to be honest, and I had started doing a little bit of consulting on the side during my maternity leave for some local women. And so then I just decided to kind of take the leap and turn that into a business. And when I started out, I was doing marketing for people, managing their social media, some bit of advertising, a little bit of PR, brand collaborations, all the things. And the more that I worked with these women, I realized what they were missing was really showcasing their passion and what they were doing in their space on a bigger scale. And I knew that that was something that I could help them with to really elevate their brand and increase the impact that they were having with the work that they were doing. And so I've sort of combined my background in PR and branding to really help my clients to become really clear on their personal brand, but then also how they want to start showing up outside of their business to attract the types of people and opportunities that they want to have within their business.
Fabulous. Great work that you're doing. And you must work with lots of different businesses that have lots of meaningful purposes, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why I enjoy what I do so much, and working with people in small business is they are so passionate about what they do. And the reason that they got into it, they really believe in it. And I think that really shows in the way in which they show up. And once they're able to overcome a lot of the some of the mindset stuff that they have around, not wanting to toot their own horn, or, that imposter syndrome that we all really suffer from, and also just confidently speaking about what it is you do and how you position yourself. Once they get over some of those hurdles and barriers, the work and the way in which they speak about what they do becomes really fluent, and they start securing more and more opportunities because they realize that they know their stuff and they can share things, they know what they're talking about. And then that passion really comes through because they stop stumbling over their words or worrying about what they're saying, and they can become much more natural in the way in which they're showing up.
Yeah, and it also, like, they can showcase that they're proud of what they offer and what they have.
Yeah.
And I think in the beginning, we sort of stumble around it because A, we're not certain about ourselves. B, we're not confident that what we have is worth sharing. And C, getting to a state where we're proud to share it, and we know that it's a benefit for other people to have our service or our product out there in the world. So I guess it's a bit of a journey that they've got to go on to develop that confidence. So when they work with you, they're ready to allow you to support them in becoming more visible and sharing their offerings with the world in a new way, and in a way that makes them shout from the rooftops with pride.
Yeah. And I think I kind of go on that journey with my clients, and that's why I start initially with your brand, or, your personal brand, and the way in which you want to position yourself, because through that work, figuring out, what's your one liner? How would you describe in one line who you are, who you serve, and what you do? And then thinking about what are those key topics or points of interest that you really want to harp on about, so that it really cements in your people's mind and they start to recognize you in those spaces. Those sorts of things really help to build your confidence. Once you are able to get them down on paper, really think about what it is you want to be known for, what it is that makes you awesome. And I love to call that, your awesomeness, and that's your point of difference in the market. Why would people want to work with you? But I think that's really important work before you start thinking about where you're showing up, because you want to have some consistency about how you speak about your offering, how you speak about what you do, how you talk about the things that are really important to you. And I think once you've done that groundwork and set those foundations, it allows you to confidently step into that limelight and really start to shine and really start to connect with the people that you want to connect with, so that, you can become that in-demand person within your industry, and people start recommending you and, hearing you on a podcast and reaching out to you in the DMs and all of those sorts of things.
So with the photographer, I can hear them just saying, oh, but I just photograph families and my point of difference isn't really anything special. I do it like everybody else because, there's only so many ways you can photograph a family. And when we're trying to think about our point of difference as a photographer, what sorts of things are we looking at? Are we talking about style? Are we talking about more than that?
I think it's more than that. So definitely there is an element of style and, the type of photography that you do, whether it's very natural or whether you're more in that portrait space. And that will allow the right families to come to you, or the right person. But then you need to think about, well, what is the way in which you work? Like what attracts your clients to you? And you can even go so far as to ask the clients that you have worked with in the past, what were your favorite things about working with me? And they might say, oh, you were really easygoing, you made me feel really comfortable in front of the camera. Or they might say, you had a really great pre-prep guide. We worked together on a mood board on Pinterest, and I felt really confident going into it that you were going to capture what we wanted to capture. Your briefing process might be really robust, and so you can talk about that as your point of difference. So it's about the key things that people are looking for in a photographer, or why they really enjoyed working to you, why they come back to you. It might be, you know, at the end, you sit down with them and talk them through the photos that you took and why you chose the selects you did, or the way in which you retouch the imagery, or there's so many things that are a point of difference. And I think sometimes we get in our own head a little bit in terms of thinking, well, I just do it the same as everyone else. There's no real reason why people would choose me over this person. But actually, when you start to ask people and get that feedback, and often it does take someone else to tell you why you're amazing.
Yes. And we love hearing it. Let's not complain.
Totally. And often it's the things that we didn't even realize, and they're pointing out and saying, oh, I really loved this. And you're like, oh my God, I thought that everyone does that, or whatever. So I do really encourage people to be talking to past clients, even other photographers, about what they love about their work and things like that, to really understand what those points of difference are, because yes, they're definitely more than just style.
Yes, that's awesome answer. And I guess if we did talk to other photographers in our niche and sort of dig deeper into the way their business works, or the way they offer their packages or their portrait sessions, then we can decide as well for ourselves what makes us different to them. And, just open up the conversation. We don't have to be all private about the way our business works in our niche. We can all just
and I do feel like collaboration and supporting each other in business is such a key part of being a small business owner, because we often are working so solo. So it is great to build out your network. And it doesn't mean that it could be that you're connecting with, if you're a family portrait photographer, that you're connecting with other people in your space in a different town, or, in different places across Australia or the world. Like, it doesn't have to be so siloed into your local area. So just thinking about how you are building out that network and that support system to also inspire you in business and learn from each other. I think that's a really important part of small business.
It is. And I'm part of some photography groups on Facebook that are international. A lot of them are American. And one of them in particular is a brand photographers group. And they showcase and talk about the way they do their packages, or interesting offers, or special gifts, or special inclusions in their packages or in their shoots. And that gives me ideas and inspiration. And then I can share the way it's done in Australia, and we can sort of learn from one another. So I'm a massive advocate, as you know anyway, of collaborating with other business owners, people in your niche, people outside of your zone. We're all here in it together, and we shouldn't be working so isolated and have everything for ourselves, because you're not going to flourish that way.
No. And I think, one of the key things that I tell my clients, or even, my community, when they're asking me, where do I start with visibility? I'm like, start building your network. What groups you're part of? I'm a part of One Roof, which is amazing for connecting with other women in business. Also, I've met so many amazing women through our shared business coach, and she has lots of events which we go to. What are those groups that you're a part of, that you're connecting with other people in business? Because often that's where the biggest opportunities will come from in the first instance. And it's a great way of building your profile in a really, I think, safe space when you're first starting out and you're maybe not 100% confident in what it is you offer. It's a great way to test out your messaging, to ask questions of people, what they're looking for potentially in a photographer in that space, do a bit of market research, and just see how other people are doing business and feel inspired by it.
Yeah, I love that. And doing market research too, like just as you're starting out, ask the questions to complete strangers or people you've met at these networking events or online networking. Reach out, ask, and, seek that sort of feedback and that, information from people to help you along the way. So that's a very good tip, Anna. So you mentioned brand collabs before, and considering like we've got domestic photographers doing babies, newborns, family photographers, wedding photographers, architectural photographers, commercial photographers such as myself, what sort of brand collaborations would make sense for commercial style photographers?
Yeah, so commercial style photographers who are looking to sell their imagery,
or like to sell their services and build a greater reach and a bigger client base. So what sort of collab would fit a service-based business?
Sure.
Like
so I think the first place to start when you're thinking about brand collaborations is, and this is for everything to do with visibility, because essentially you want to reach the people that you want to reach. So the right people. So thinking about who are the people that you want to get in front of. Where are they spending a lot of their time? Where are they hanging out online? So if you're thinking about a family photographer, say, going back to that example, then you know that you are generally wanting to connect with mums and get in front of mums. So what other brands are they following? You know, it might be that they are following a children's wear brand or something like that. So how could you potentially connect in with that particular brand? Maybe it's that you could be part of one of their photo shoots, or maybe you could look at doing some sort of amazing giveaway with them, or maybe they have a blog or something where they are looking for content and maybe you can contribute to that blog. And these are all great ways to actually think about getting in front of that audience, because essentially their audience already knows, likes, and trusts that person. So by you showing up on their channels, it's that automatic know, like, and trust. They're saying, I trust this person. They're a credible source. They're amazing at what they do. And their audience will automatically go, oh, they must be amazing.
They'll buy into you as well.
So you kind of jumped quite a few steps in that know, like, and trust factor already. And you'll find that often the people that are jumping into your DMs that said, hey, I saw that blog that you wrote, they're already warmed up. They've already made up their mind that they want to jump on a discovery call with you, or they want to book you in as a photographer, because you've warmed them up you've warmed up 50 people instead of that one person that you've been working hard on in your own channels for the last 2 months to get across the line.
So then is the blog collaboration on a like-minded business like that the new version of being in print media? So in the past, we would try and pitch ourselves to print media. I've been in a few equine magazines with my photographic art. Is the new version of that, we're sort of seeking readership online now through blogs. And if we are cross-promoting and collaborating on somebody else's blog, is that kind of the new version?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what your objective is. So there is still a place for print media and magazines and things like that, but I think it definitely sits in that space of really building your credibility. So as a photographer to say, oh, you know, I've been seen in Style magazine, and here that's, you know, that's like, wow, you've really made it. Because people have that mindset about magazines and those sorts of publications. Whereas if you're wanting to, in those early stages of business, just get in front of people, start building your profile, get people to start to know who you are, what you're about, and you'll understand what your work is about, then looking at places where, online, that you can get in front of them really quickly, where they're really engaged, often that can be a much more effective place to be seen. And same with things like influencers and those sorts of things, or even if your audience is listening to lots of podcasts, you're getting in front of them, and often you get the opportunity to have a call to action at the end, and they can easily link to your profile and check you out and find out more information about you very, very quickly. So it often will result in an action rather than that credibility piece.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then
Does
that's
that
a
make
great.
sense?
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. And I recall from studying a little bit of PR and pitching to media that you don't necessarily, your article isn't necessarily supposed to be about you. It's supposed to be about a bigger story that kind of relates to the publication. And then you only got this tiny little byline at the bottom saying how people can reach you. And I guess now it's twisted, and you can add a call to action now with blog posts and other social shares. So there's a bit more impact and stronger use for them, and our benefit as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, you can have a really strong call to action, which people can follow. You can also measure the success a little bit better. So, when we're talking about magazines or print media, we're like, the anticipated reach or the readership of that publication is however much it is, but you don't actually know that people read your particular article or took note of who you were or anything like that. Whereas if you say wrote a blog and you've got links in it, there's ways of tracking the links, who's clicked through. You can see where the traffic from that website has come from on your own website. Like, there's lots of data that you can pull from these online platforms. So you actually can measure the success and whether something worked a little bit better as well, which I think is really interesting and really good to keep track of, because as small business owners, you've got such a limited time. You don't want to spend time on something and keep doing it if it's not working. You want to be able to know, yes, that worked. I got X amount of DMs, or I had X amount of visits to the website, or whatever it was. From this thing, I know that I should do that again. Like, how can I replicate it in a different way and continue to utilize it? Or it's like that drove no traffic. There was no action taken. Let's not do that. Why was it not working? Let's change track, and what can we do and test instead?
Yes. I guess a lot of working in business is test and adjust, A/B testing, and reassessing what sort of strategies are worth investing in the next year or the next 6 months. There's so much work to do in that space as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Having a plan and understanding what it is you actually want to try and achieve with each activity that you're doing is really important in business, because we can kind of get into what I describe as like living the rabbit life and just jumping from or hopping from one thing to the other and not actually doing anything well. So you really want to choose wisely in terms of the activity that you're going to do, and then just focus all your energy and attention on like 2 or 3 things and do them really bloody well, and know that you did, rather than trying to do it all and running around like a headless chook.
And that's what you help your clients with. You actually build a strategy for them. And like, whether it's a month-based strategy or a 3-month-based strategy, so that they're not just all over the place, they're focused, it's targeted, and they're going to make the most of the limited time that they have. So I think, working with somebody like you on an actual strategy for visibility makes a lot of sense, because you're not wasting time. Yeah.
People get really hung up on the word strategy, and essentially a strategy is just a plan. You want to have a plan. That's it. It's nothing fancy. It's like, you want to have a plan. You want to look at what it is you want to achieve in your business. How does those goals then filter into where you show up, how you show up, and that visibility piece? And then where do you need to be showing up to achieve those goals, so that you are working towards something that you know is going to have a positive effect on your business, rather than focusing on things and not really understand why you're doing them, and getting to the point where they're chewing up all your time and they're not actually working towards anything at all.
So in that case, let's talk about what photographers would want to achieve from any of these plans/strategies. What are we looking to achieve besides? Is there something more than building our client base / building revenue?
Yeah, I think photography, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I know when I'm looking to work with a photographer, I want to know what style of photography. I want to see the imagery. I also want to understand how they work. And often I am looking for those third-party endorsements. So if a photographer is worked with someone that I trust and I see the end results and go, God, that imagery is beautiful. I would love to have that in my house, or I would love to have that as my brand photography on my website. Then I'm looking for those third-party endorsements as well. And I'm looking for the social and the visual proof of what they're going to be able to achieve for me. And then I think on another scale, I also want to know that this person is going to make me feel really comfortable in front of the camera, or that their values align with mine, and then I'm going to get along with them, because otherwise, well, for me, I don't feel comfortable in front of a camera. So I need someone who's going to, make me feel comfortable and allow me to get in a space where they can capture what it is I'm looking for.
And also, I think a photographer can do that by sharing their personality and be more visible online through the Instagram stories, through live chats, through webinars, through cross promotion, Instagram, featuring on other people's Instagram lives, to share who you are as a person, as a photographer person, so that potential clients can see, oh, she is actually so friendly. She's funny, she's quirky, she's cute, whatever her personality is. And then if you align with that personality, you're more inclined to look them up, hire them, and start working with them, because they're going to make you feel comfortable, because you already feel comfortable just watching them online.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, visibility, focusing on your visibility and looking at the different places that you can show up is really extra storytelling around, all of the things that you just touched on, who you are, how you work, all of that stuff that makes people want to work with you, because people aren't buying into just products and services anymore. They want to know who's behind the business. They want to know that they're supporting local, that, these people align with their values, they believe in the same things, or, they're a nature lover like you are, so that that's going to be incorporated into the imagery that they are capturing, or whatever it is.
So in talking about, you mention a lot actually in the things that you talk about, storytelling. And so when you mention nature lover, or little aspects of your personality or your personal interest, how can we bring that and create it into a story to help us grow our reach and our client base and our visibility path?
Yeah, I think that those types of things, those really personal traits, also allow you to figure out potentially the brands that you might want to collaborate with, or the influencers, if you're moving into that influencer space, the types of people that you want to be working with, because they will allow you to connect in with like-minded people, and that like-minded people are going to be following them. So being really clear on some of those things that you really value or that you're really interested in. And then I think through social media and things like that, you start telling those stories. You don't always have to be posting about your services or your products. You can say, like, if you're into nature, on the weekend I went for a hike, and show some photos of that, or loved going to my wellness center today, or whatever it is, and just start peppering those through your socials, or even your emails to your database. But also from a like visibility PR perspective, there might be stories in that as well that have helped you learn things in your business, or might affect the way in which you work with your clients and things like that. So then how can you be pulling some of that storytelling into your visibility opportunities that you're securing, whether it's when you're on a podcast or when you are going live with someone on Instagram or whatnot. You can start pulling in some of those personal stories as well, and hobbies and interests that you have.
Okay. And I guess that's the type of thing that will set you apart from other photographers, especially in your niche.
Yeah.
Because people want to, as you said, they want to work with people on a personal level. We're not just looking for a service provider to tick the box to do the job. We want to actually connect on a personal level. You've got to find the right fit for you.
You do. So you've got to share. You don't have to share everything. Like,
no,
it's just some of those things that will help you stand out. And when people connect, that's when they remember, and it's that memorability that's going to get them to join your community, reach out to you for work and that sort of thing. And I know for myself, when I was looking at getting my brand photography done, the photographer that I work with and shows, she really loves the beach. And her imagery a lot of the time is on the beach, or like a different natural spaces within our local area. And I just knew she was the one that I wanted to work with, because that's a thing for me that sets me apart from other people who might be in my space. I love the beach. I love being outdoors. I do a lot of traveling and adventure and things like that. And I think that a lot of my clients connect with me on that. And so we can have conversations in the DMs beyond just products and services. They might be like, hey, I'm going to this place. I saw you were there 3 weeks ago. Do you have any tips for a cafe? And your conversations with your community and your clients don't always have to revolve around the work that you do. And you actually create stronger, better relationships if you can talk to them about other things.
Yeah, I love that, actually. That is such a good reminder, Anna.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that. You've really inspired me, actually, to share more stories and share more personal stuff, because sometimes you think, oh, nobody cares about my home renovation or this or that, and it has nothing to do with my photography business. But only today somebody sent me a Voxer saying, well, where are the photos of your new walk-in wardrobe? And I was like, I didn't think anybody cared. But it's building that personality and friendship. It's like, it's not friendship for life type of friendship, but it's just like a light-hearted friendship that you're not just out there to be all about business. You're a real person. You want to connect on a real level with other people in your community. And just like you said, if somebody wants to talk about a new location they're going to try and they think of you, at least they're thinking of you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So in the photography world, some photographers aren't necessarily in business. They are photographers and they're doing an art practice, selling their photographic work in galleries and online and through exhibitions. So if a photographer has a message to share through their work, and I encourage this a lot when I talk about personal projects and creating work that's connected to your creative truth. If they have a message through their photography projects, say it's about climate change, or say it's about, I don't know, other social issues that they're seeing in their environment or around their world, how can they share that and make that photographic series become more visible and share and continue the storyline out there?
Yeah. So I think it's about understanding what publications or what people are also really passionate about that particular cause, and how can you connect in with them. So if there's particular blogs that write about this issue, often, reaching out to them and making them aware of what you're doing, why it's important. If there's any ways that they could help to amplify your message, I think, that's a great place to start. Or looking at, are there particular influential people, and they don't have to be social influencers or famous people. They could be, they could be people who are influential in your local area, like an MP or, someone who is part of, I don't know, the football club or whatever, who is passionate about this and has some form of word of mouth or platform, inviting them to your show, or just even making them aware of, the work that you're doing and asking them if they want to be involved in some way, thinking about some sort of activity that you could do with them, or whether they would be interested sharing some of your artwork and the thinking behind it on their socials, through their stories, things like that. I think it's just about understanding who else is talking about that particular issue, or who might it be interested in, and then thinking about ways that you can connect in with them and ask them to support your message and that sort of thing.
Yeah, totally. I didn't think about looking for somebody else out there that's not in the photographer space, somebody external that's also talking about that social issue, that message that you want to align with.
Yeah.
You could even say, if it was a charity of some kind and it was aligned with the story you're telling through your photographs, you could offer to do an auction, a silent auction, to raise money for a charity through your artwork.
Yeah.
Actually, definitely. That reminds me, I've done that. I just totally forgot. I have done this exact thing. Let me tell the story. In 2012, I had my first solo photography exhibition. It was titled Bucked Off, and it was adrenaline-filled images of Australian rodeo. And actually, I aligned it with the Prostate Cancer Foundation.
Yeah.
So on my opening night, I raised money for the Prostate Cancer Foundation, had the the Canberra-based society come to my show, collect funds for the foundation, and I gave a speech. And also, the reason I chose that charity is because my father suffered from prostate cancer back many years ago. And so it was important to me to share the message, especially to men, these tough rodeo riders, these cowboys out there, not thinking about their physical health, and bring awareness to that message. So I aligned my work that was showcasing these cowboys and tying it into a charity that was close to my heart. So there you go. That's an example.
Yeah. And I think things like charities, they have their own channels of communication as well. And often those types of stories or cause-based events and things like that have media interest as well. A lot of places have local free newspapers. They love to feature local business owners or people who are doing things to better the local area. And if your story is of interest enough, there might be national publications that also want to look at featuring those stories. So looking at media as an option as well, if you've got that kind of collaboration that might be a little bit higher profile, looking at ways that you can then build on and really utilize those events and things to the best of their ability, and really spread the message as far and wide as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. So are there any other ways that you think photographers should be spending their energy becoming more visible as a general business owner? Like we've mentioned blogs, cross-promotion and blog features. We've mentioned podcasts, being on, other podcasts. What else did we mention, Anna?
Brand
Oh,
collaboration.
brand collaboration, yes.
Yeah. And then briefly just and influencers as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think they're really in those early stages of business. Those are fairly key pieces. So in terms of the blogs, there's an extension of that where it's a guest post. So it could be that you look at certain online media publications and how you might actually write stories that get published on those publications. So like going really big here, things like Forbes, they often have lots of like how-to pieces, articles and things like that. Or if you were a newborn photographer, maybe you would be looking at something like Mum Central or one of those parenting publications where you could provide, 5 things to think about when you're getting your child ready for newborn photography.
Oh,
Like
yes.
newborn photo shoot, make sure you've got X amount of change of clothes and,
Yes.
whatever it is, that kind of how-to content can often be really great as well and really helps to position you as that expert. Yeah, that blog writing or cross-promoting blog content really is kind of bigger when you incorporate those media publications as well in terms of the contribution that you can make.
Well, what about if it's just like, say, for instance, small business to small business, and I'm featuring on your blog?
Yeah.
Is it really moving the needle all that much if I'm featuring just once and it just has my caption at the bottom of how people can reach me? Is it really moving the needle, or do I need to feature many times on that same business?
Well, it really depends how that person promotes their blog content as well.
Yes.
And how their website is set up from an SEO standpoint. So if they're really into their SEO and ensuring there's keywords scattered through their blogs and things like that, you will actually start to rank on Google for the blog content that you're contributing to their website. And the other great thing is that when they've got links back to your website, these backlinks, it's telling Google that you're a trusted source. So it's actually helping to build in that respect as well. So again, that goes back to what your objectives are for your business and what you want to achieve from the visibility activity that you do. And if that's something that you really want to work on, then that space is something that you should be looking at delving into and seeing where the opportunities lie for your business and what blogs potentially could help drive traffic. Yeah. And sometimes I think you can pull the data from your website and understand other websites that are currently driving traffic to your site, and maybe you look at targeting them first and seeing whether there's any opportunities for you to feature because they're already really successful. And so by, like you said, showcasing yourself on that platform multiple times, it's just going to increase the traffic that's being driven to your website.
I think that's really valuable for photographers because there's so many photographers who have a blog. Usually it's showcasing latest photo shoots, but some people can think a little deeper about how they can strategize their blogs going forward, and they could they work with you on something like that to help them nut out?
Yeah, well, I kind of work on more what you want to be known for and what topics, what I call hype pillars.
Yes.
So the topics that you are going to talk about on multiple platforms again and again, and then the stories that you can share that build on these kind of hype pillars that we work through together.
Oh, tell us more about the hype pillars, Anna.
Yeah. So I know with your socials, often you'll have like content pillars or content buckets. But what I like to do with my clients and what I sort of say is, even though you might know everything about your profession, you want to hone in on 3 to 4 key topics that you want to talk about over and over again. And you might talk about them in slightly different ways. And so it really helps when you're either, I don't know, pitching to podcasts or writing guest posts to really continually drive your key messages and those key hype pillars to your people. So they're seeing you talk about this topic on your socials, and then they might see you talking about that topic in a blog that you've written, and that just continually like cements in their brain. Like the first time it's really just that, piques their interest. The second time they start paying attention. The third time they're like, oh yeah, that's the girl who's all about this. And maybe it's not for them, but they're asked at a networking event, do you know anyone who does this? And they're like, yes, because you're front of mind and they've seen you talk about it. They know that's what you're about and that's really important to you. So having hype pillars just really helps you to strategize and plan out the things that you're going to talk about. So you're not talking about everything.
Yeah, everything and nothing.
Yeah, that's it. Because people don't remember if you're talking, they're like, what is this girl about? I'm confused. Or, so they know, they will start to recognize those key things that you talk about on a daily basis, through socials and then through these other opportunities that you're securing for your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I actually really love that. And I think this is the type of thing we can all listen back to and start to even do the work ourselves and write down in our notebook some of our hype pillars, what they would be and what are the messages we want to reiterate and continually talk about.
Yeah, and the way that I look at them is also what's going to grab people's attention as well. So if you are really passionate about something in your industry that maybe is a little bit different to what a lot of photographers are saying, or the way that they work, or something that will help you stand out from the crowd, essentially. So that then comes back to some of that foundational work that you would have done around your point of difference and things like that.
So that could be something like something that would set me apart. This is an example and not necessarily true, but if I don't believe in retouching.
Yes.
That would be something so controversial nowadays, because we expect retouching. We expect our wrinkles to be softened. We expect our teeth to be whitened. We expect ourselves not to have a double chin. So if I was a photographer that stood against that, I made that my hype pillar and I made that my messaging.
Totally. Yeah. Or it might be that your hype pillar is like something to do with natural photography and how the world is skewed so much to adjusting imagery that it's just not a reflection of our everyday life. And then from that, one of the topics that you're talking about is what you just mentioned, why you don't retouch imagery. And that might be a pitch that you send out to a podcast and have a whole conversation around. Then there might be another element that you speak about coming out of your hype pillar that's like, why you don't need 10 outfits for a photo shoot, or the pretty white dress that everyone says that you need for your family photography or whatever. And you see how that there's multiple things that you've been talking about, but they're all leading back up to that overarching hype pillar.
That's cool. I love that. I love the way that works.
Yeah.
I'm already visualizing my brain sort of ticking along going, oh, what else can we come up with? This is fun. The stuff you work on with visibility, Anna, is so fun, and it can go in lots of different directions. You can dig deep. You can actually discover more things about yourself as a photographer or as a business owner than you think right now. You might just be thinking, oh, I'm just a photographer. I do nice pictures and I've got this style and I service my clients this way. But working with you, you can really dig deep and find stories, find pillars, find messaging, find unique selling points and unique voices throughout your work that you can leverage in so many ways, like you mentioned today.
Yeah.
Look, I'm excited just thinking about all these things.
Yeah. And I think once you've done that foundational work, obviously I work a lot with my clients around how they can amplify their message through other people's channels, but all that work filters down into everything that you do as a business. So getting that foundational personal brand, understanding all of those things really helps you through your socials, through your emails. It directs the way in which you go to networking events and the way that you talk about your business to people. It means that you've got an elevator pitch when you're chatting to people that allows them in 30 seconds or less to understand what your business is about. So you're not stumbling on your words and you're like, I'm a photographer who I do, you're really confident in exactly how you're positioning your business and how you're sharing the messages you want to share.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. So I know you have a couple of things going on in your business. You run a program called Be Your Own Hype Woman.
Yes.
And you've also got a masterclass, which I've attended, which was so incredible. Can you please share with my listeners how they can learn about those two items that you've got going on?
Yeah, sure. So I have a masterclass called How to Become a Visible Force in Your Industry. And that is a free masterclass that you can sign up to. I will share the link with Grace, but it really digs a bit deeper into a lot of the stuff that we've spoken about today. Talks about the different tactics that you can use within your business to become more visible, to start building that credibility and really become in demand with the right people. Then I have a paid digital program that is called Be Your Own Hype Woman, which has 6 modules that really takes you through everything we've spoken about today. So setting those foundational pieces, really delving into what your story is, what your one-liner is, all of those foundational pieces, and then start to build out your visibility plan. So figuring out where your people are hanging out, where you need to start showing up, how you can start reaching out and securing opportunities for your business. So there's things in there like pitching templates and, opportunity monitoring spreadsheets and, how to find the right contact to reach out to, and all of those sorts of things, as well as just setting out the strategy and the plan so that you can start really hitting the ground running and rolling it out and securing those amazing opportunities for your business. And also part of that is a Facebook group, and you get 6 months of group coaching with me once a month. So with my group coaching, we do things like interview training so that you feel really confident going into whether it's Facebook, like Instagram lives or podcast interviews. We do training around that. We do brainstorming sessions around brand collaborations that people could do. And it's a really collaborative and supportive community. And I want to build that up. And obviously within the group, you get my support as well. And then some of the coaching calls are just straight coaching calls where you can ask me anything about visibility, and I help you kind of work through those pieces and then things that you want to be focusing on. So yeah, they're the 2 main ways at the moment that you can work with me and learn a little bit more about visibility, and hopefully start to build out your own plan and figure out how it works within your business, because it is definitely different for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds remarkable, Anna. I'm so excited to share that with my audience. I will put the links in the show notes to both of those items and all the other links for Anna Scott, the visibility coach. So you can get in touch with her, you can follow her, and you can learn from her. But Anna, you gave us so much gold today. I feel like we could just continue nutting out and digging deep into all these strategies. But look, you have places to be. You have 3 kids now, so you have plenty to do. I've taken up so much of your time, but we really value you so much. And thank you for everything you shared with us. And yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with you today.
Thank you. That was such a great chat. And yes, we could keep going on for days and days. You and I just get on a bit of a tangent. So yes. I hope everyone's learnt a lot. And yeah, connect with me at annascott.pr on Instagram. Got any questions or anything at all, definitely hit me up in the DMs. Happy to have a chat and help where I can. So thanks for having me on the show.
Anna is so approachable, guys. So if you feel like you want to DM her, she will answer personally. She's really approachable and a gorgeous woman. So thank you so much, Anna. And I will be in touch with you very soon because we talk all the time. And thanks again for today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today, friends. This was a gorgeous episode. I think you need to replay it 2 or 3 times to get all the content out of it. Get your notebook handy so that you can build some ideas and strategies around what Anna shared today. But until next time, friends, I will catch you on the next episode. That's it for today's episode. If you found it valuable, I invite you to leave a review so more people can find this podcast, or simply subscribe to be notified when each new episode drops. Until next time, see you later.